Depending on the kind of question you're given, you have to know how many columns and how many inches do you have to do a dummy sheet. So let's start by counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 columns, and then we'll know how many inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 inches. The inches is known by how many boxes is on the column. Now, let's look at where we place our flag, our folio, our flag, our earpiece, our teasers. To do this, you have to need a newspaper, because the newspaper that will help you to know where you put the dummy, the arrangement, the pagination. Now you have Campus Times. Why you see these Campus Times, that's actually the flag. This is not a typical newspaper. A typical newspaper should be where you have this NU, thank you, NUC. That's where the flag is meant to be. But since it's not a typical newspaper, we'll be using this as an example. This is The Nation, and this is a typical newspaper. So we'll just be using their kind of design to know where we have to put the flag. Now the flag, where you have The Nation, this is the flag. This is the flag. The title of the newspaper, that's the title of the newspaper. The price, where you have the price of the newspaper, and the date it was published, and the publication, that's the publication. So this is the name of the newspaper. So in our dummy sheet, we'll be putting that. We'll also be putting the teasers. We have 3 teasers to put, so we'll just put here. We have the earpiece. Earpiece is where you put adverts, and then we can put the other teaser at the bottom left. So we have 2 teasers, 1 earpiece, and then another teaser at the bottom. So depending on the kind of question you have, your lecturer will not tell you where you have to put everything. He just gives you the measurement and the pagination, but you have to use your head to think. This is where you put your earpiece. That's your advert, then the 2 teasers, and then the last teaser. So let's get to work. Supposing you are given a question, how do you count your inches for your teaser, and how do you count your inches for your flag? Of course, naturally, it's to start at the 2nd inch, your flag, and then count for your teasers. Let's take 10 as an example. 10 picas. So that is where the 10th pica stop. Of course, a pica is a unit that makes up the inch. So 10 picas. Now we'll count for the flag. If we're using 6 by 6 for the flag, we'll have to start at where the 10th pica stop to count 12. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is where we'll stop. So let's start at where the 10th pica stops to count. But for now, we'll just rule out the 10. We have 6 by 10 picas, 6 columns by 10 picas for our teasers and our earpiece. Then at where the 10th pica stops, where we see those 2 remaining picas before we get to the next inch, we'll start from there to count for the flag. So we'll start from there to count for the flag. We'll take out these 2 picas and start from the top to count. Okay, so let's start we'll take out these 2 picas and we'll start from the top of the other remaining 2 picas to count 12, 6 by 6, 12 picas by 6 column for our flag. So we'll just rule straight up to rule for our flag, and then we'll continue. Okay, so let's continue to rule for our flag. We'll continue from where we stopped to rule for our flag, and then we'll just state it that this is the flag. Of course, you know the flag it runs from it runs from the left to right. That's 6 columns wide, 12 picas deep, left to right, 6 from the first to the last. So okay, we didn't cover all of that, so just start from here, erase that, and continue. I cannot relate, cause my father is not their mate. These other girls where them get it for apartment, all of them are worthless, and I just they laugh, cause my father is bigger than Toto. Okay, now let's rule out our flag. Our flag. There we have it, the flag. Of course, you know that the flag contains the nameplate, the price, the publication date, and the publication, everything into one. The flag, just where the optical center of the eyes is. Now, we're going to do the earpiece and the teasers. Where do we start from to rule? Of course, you know that the spaces in between the columns are the gutters to... Alright, this line is not straight. We just have to straighten this up. For everything you do, use a sharp pencil and make sure your lines are straight, because you have to follow what is on the dummy sheet. Now we're going to do the teasers and the earpiece. So here we start from where the last gutter on the other columns begin. Know that two columns are for teasers, specifically 2 columns are for earpieces. Your earpiece is where the adverts are. So you can't use 1 column. You have to use 2 columns. So you have to rule from top to bottom, from where the start of your next column begins. So we just ruled from top to bottom. And you know that in your teasers, you have to put your mugshot. What's your mugshot? The pictures that accompanies your headlines for a story. So rule from top to bottom from the earpiece. The earpiece is situated at the top right. At the top right. So we just rule that out. Make sure that you're ruling every line, because don't assume that the columns are there for you to rule. Make sure your dummy sheet is indicating every line that you're ruling. So you have to rule out every place, everything, so that your dummy sheet indicates that. Failure to do so will mean your pagination, your design is incomplete. So we'll just write earpiece. I just discovered that I made 2 lines, so we'll just clean that one. The first line, we'll clean the first line and go ahead with the second line. Okay, so let's have our teaser. 2 columns wide and 10 picas deep. We rule from where the third column starts, from top to bottom. And then here we have there are 2 teasers right there, and then for the second column we'll put our mock shirts. So just rule out the 2 columns. Just rule out the 2 columns. Then we'll write our teaser 1, because that's like the first teaser 1. Then you put the mock shot there. Make sure that for every picture you're marking it out with an X. You're marking it out with an X. I don't think that's quite right, so I think I'll just have to erase it. Cause my father is bigger than Toto. Every Toto, any Toto, Toto, any Toto, Odi Toto. Because my father is bigger than Toto. Any Toto, every Toto, Toto, yeah. Your actions are not accidental. Only you know contestant. Only you body
surrender. You they give me bonanza.
Okay, so we'll just write mugshot right here, and then we'll continue to state that's 10 picas, that's 2 columns, that's okay for the mugshot, 1 column by 10 picas, 1 column by 10 picas. That's for the mugshot. You're only stating in every picture, you're only stating the size. In every picture you must state the size. Now we'll do the same thing we did here for the second teaser, and then also do it for the mugshot too.
My father is bigger than Odo, any Odo, every Odo. I say he's bigger than Odo, every Odo. Because my father is bigger than Odo, any Odo, every Odo. I say he's bigger than Odo, every Odo. Our Father, waiting forever. Nobody fit collect the chair when you sit down. Our Baba, we badu your bata, and we throw a salama, as now you are. These other girls, with them they carry for pocket. I cannot relate, cause my father is not their baby. These other girls, with them they give for a part. All of them are wanted, and I just they laugh, because my father is bigger than Odo, any Odo, every.
Okay, having done all that, let's move on to the other questions and body. Okay, so now we'll do our headline and every other thing in the body. We want to do our headline, every other thing in the body. Now here we're going to, depending on how many stories you're giving, you just have to use your head to think, where do you want to put the lead picture, where do you want to put the headline. These remaining 2 picas, you have to count it as well, because you don't want there to be any comma in your dummy sheet. So we'll start to count out the 2 picas, and then we'll use that to do the headline. Then after that, we'll do the lead picture. You can decide whether or not the headline should accompany the lead picture. But in this case, the headline is going to be a standalone headline with another body that will run through all of that, and then the lead picture will be here. They'll do another story, and then we'll do another story, and then do another story and teaser. So let's start. We'll count and we'll continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12 picas for the headline. So a headline that will be at the optical center should have at least 2 inches, or 2 inches and 2 picas, or just 2 inches. In this case, we'll be using 2 inches so that we can have everything set. Well, it depends on you. If you want to have 2 inches and 2 picas, just make sure that at the end of your dummy sheet result, you're not having a comma. So we're ruling that out right now, and then we'll just write a headline. Now, in a headline, you can have a kicker, or you can have a rider. What is a kicker? The kicker is what introduces the headline. For example, the Senate, column. A kicker always has a column, and then the rider is just a short explanation for the headline. So you can decide whether or not to put a kicker here. That's your kicker. Just write it. Just state it that, okay, your headline has a kicker by writing a kicker there. Or you can state that your headline has a rider. I should have given more space so that to contain the rider, but for now we don't want to write any of that. We just want to put the headline. But it's up to you if you want to make your work beautiful by adding kicker or rider. It's up to you. Now that we have that, we're going to do the body. And for every story you're writing, you must have a byline. So we're just using 2 inches for our story. Just 2 inches for the story. Since we already have the headline there, we just rule a line. We just remove 2 picas out, and then count 12. 12 picas is 2 inches. So we use this place to put our byline, because that's where the story is going to start from. So for every story, you need to indicate your byline. and then map it out as well. So you put your byline, you map it out, and then you make sure that your arrow starts from where the byline starts from and stops where your story ends. So we'll just indicate that. You put an arrow and then you start to make sure you use a ruler to rule just one on each inch, and then make sure it's a zigzag, like a zigzag form. You move it to the next line, because that's how the eye movements continue. So you start from the right to the left and you continue like that, up down. Make sure it is, don't do 2 lines on 1 inch, no, or 1 column. Don't do 2 lines on 1 column. Make sure it's 1 line. So you can see how it's going zigzag till the very end, and at the very end you're going to put an arrow down, facing down.
Listen, I no get time for fullness. Make I remind you if you don't forget. Touch not my anointed, that's correct. But if you put hand, oh bros, you go collect.
So the eye movement starts from here, continues like that, on and on, till the very end. So now after that, we're going to put our lead picture. Of course, our lead picture or our lead photo is the main photo on the front page, and it's depending on the size you're giving. You can be given 6 by 4, but for now we'll be using 4 by 3 inches and 4 columns. You can be giving 6 by 4, you can be giving, and you know that if you're giving 6 by 4, the stories on your front page won't be much. So just calculate the things to look out for first before any other thing. Your lead photo, first for your flag, your lead photos, your headline, your headline, and then the teasers, how many teasers, so that you know how many teasers you're going to include up there or down there. So your lead photo will, if it's large, like 6 columns, it's going to contain a lot of space. So there won't be enough space for you to write your story, or maybe you can write your story and then you can decide to use just 1 column. So you're going to map out this. You're going to map out this by X. For every photo, you have to map it out by X. We've done the 4 columns and 3 inches. So we're using our remaining pie cards to just complete it, as you can see. So it's 4. We're just going to do 4 columns and 3 inches. Map it out by X.
Yeah, if God before me I the wonder who be that. Take a walk or show you muscle. They never tell her, bros, I go touch you. No be me go fight, no be me go bust the bottle. See, if God before me.
Now you're going to have to write the name of what the photo is talking about. That's the photograph. What is it communicating? What's the it's just like the dates. Is it date line? And what you have when you're writing your news story, your byline, your dateline, and all that. Just 2 words to communicate what is in the photo. So we're going to do that. Let's say it's going to be SUG, Unio SUG elections, because it's a main story. So 2 or 3 words is enough. Or SUG elections, SUG election, or Unio SUG election, to be very specific. And then you write the measurements. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 columns. 4 by 3 columns. 4 by 3 columns. That's 4 columns and 3 inches. So just write 4 by 3 columns. That's how you write it. 4 by 3 columns. That's 4 columns and 3 inches. So just adding up everything. 4 by 3 columns. Then write columns on there. Of course, you know that up there, we actually had to write in the teasers 1 column by 10 picas. It can be that, or it can be 1 by 10 picas. 1 there means column, then 10 picas, because of course he will calculate it. So you can write 1 by 10 picas or 1 column by 10 picas. Anyhow, as long as it is you're not out of context, you're not out of measurements. 4, it can be this way, 4 by 3 columns, which is the standard way to write for a lead photo. Or in your teaser, you can write 1 by 10 picas or 1 column by 10 picas. Then in your cut line, of course, you're going to have to write your cut line. Rule out your cut line, because your cut line is the explanation of who and who is in the photo. Your cut line explains who and who is in the photo. Or you can say SUG president by the left, SUG president this. So just rule out 2 picas for your cut line and write there cut line. And then the measurements. Of course, you see that the measurement is 4 columns by 2 picas. So just write 4 by 2 picas. Okay, 4 by 2 picas is enough. So having done that, you're going to now do the rest of the story. But first of all, let's map out our teaser so that we can know how to structure our other stories.
Before you, who goes down, ma? Who goes down, ma? Who goes down, ma? I say, hey, nobody. Come on, buddy, for attention. My dear brother, don't go, cause who God don't bless.
So we'll do this teaser 3, because we had to do 3 teasers and 1 earpiece. So teaser 3 and then the mug shots, because there have to be a mug shot in your teaser. It's not necessary though, but for the sake of clarity, especially when you have a headline and you don't have a story, it's not sensible to just put a teaser without a mug shot. Standard newspapers carry teasers with mug shots, so they will just indicate it.
Say they want you, but if you touch me, no go hard. Wahala, don't.
And then we'll do the measurements just like that. 1 column by how many inches? 2 inches. 2 inches, not picas. Here we wrote 10 picas because they were not up to 2 inches, so we just write 2 inches. Oh, I think that's an oversight. It's supposed to be an inches, not picas actually. It's supposed to be inches, so please take notes. Now we'll do the remaining story. You can decide how many story you want, but just know that you shouldn't do something that will leave a comma at the end of your dummy sheet. So you can decide 3 is okay, 3 stories, 2 is also okay. So you can start from here. You can decide to do 2 inches for your headline. You can start there and map it out till you get to and run like that, like your story should run. If you want to do it, another headline should be here, down here, another headline, down here, another headline, like that. So that is it. You can decide, but make sure that it should contain your dummy sheet. And then depending on the question you have, how many stories you're meant to do. So we want to do 1 inch for the headline, 1 inch and 2 picas, because we don't want to leave out spaces at the end of the whole. You can just decide to put that remaining pica in your headline if you have something like this, but if you don't, you can just go ahead with 1 inch for your headline. So for this headline, we'll be doing 1 inch and 2 picas. You can decide whether your kicker should be up there. If you want to write, if your headline bears a kicker, you can write, indicate it. If it bears a rider, you can also indicate it down there. And then your story should run. First of all, your byline and then the arrow. You use two picas for your byline. You make sure that everything you're doing, you're ruling, because you need a straight line, like you need your straight A's, okay? A straight line. So there we go. Your byline and then the arrow run down. Depending, like I said again, depending on the question, you can have more than in the whole of this dummy sheet. We're going to actually be doing 7 stories, including the teasers, because the teaser is also a story in the page of the next pages of the newspaper. So depending on how many stories you're meant to do, just make sure that the main things comes first. Your flag, your headline, your lead picture, and then your teasers. The main things comes first. So also take note of the whole numbers of columns you have, so you know how to draw it. But remember that there is a a rule of thumb for earpiece, teasers, 2 columns, 2 inches, just like that. So now we'll do another story here, rule a line for your headline, and we'll do another story. Just the same thing we've been doing all along. Also remember that where you have that teaser 3 at the bottom, you should include, if you have a story there, if you want to do only 2 teasers, or if you're giving only 2 teasers to do, or you're giving more than, and your story happens to fall into where the teaser 3 is, make sure that at the end of it, where you have the 2 picas, where you have that mugshot, at the end of it, you indicate jump to page 7. Jump to page 7. Make sure that it's just like the byline. You do a box there and write jump to page 7 after your whole arrow. That is it.
That is not of God in my life, oh. I don't want to know where you came from. I come in the name of Jesus. You must go Butter. Oh, you don't want to use the door. You can use the window. Your place is in the gutter, Joe. So sickness, and badness, and laziness, even sadness. Jabba, they don't need Jabba. See as all of them need Jabba. Jabba, they don't need Jabba. See as all of them need Jabba. Yeah, I come in the name of the Lord, not just on my own accord. If I be praying and speaking in tongues, I can say anything here, it will happen abroad. Okay, now we are clear on that. So let's go back on track. As I was saying, any spirit that is not of my Father should get out of here. Spirit of infirmity, your place is inside the gutter. And I'm so nice because sending you inside the gutter is a very generous offer. You evil spirit of untimely death, come on for yeah, it is rightly said that the Son of Man came to give life and everything that pertains to life and godliness. So I'm telling you, the Holy Spirit lives in me. So who are you now? I come in the name of Jesus. You must go Oh, you don't want to use the door. You can use the window. Your place is in the God. Spirit of rebellion. Whether you are one or legion. I can't hear you. What did you say? I'll pack up and be on your way, Joe.
You will never face a mountain in your life greater than the power of God on your inside. You will never experience any spirit more powerful than God that you carry on your inside. It says, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Do you believe that? You foul devil, I confront you in the name of Jesus. Out. Butter jaw.
Jabba, they don't need Jabba. See as all of them need Jabba. Jabba, they don't need Jabba. See as all of them need Jabba. Yeah, I come in the name of the Lord, not just on my own accord. If I be praying and speaking in tongues, I can say anything here, it will happen abroad. Okay, now we are clear on that. So let's go back on track.
So here we have our dummy sheets already. Teasers, the mugshots, the measurement, the earpiece, the flag, the headline, the body of the headline that accompanies the headline, the lead, the picture, the headline and the story that accompanies the picture, the cut line, the measurement, the title of the story, the headline, byline, another story, and then the teaser and the mugshot. So this is just a standard way of doing it. You can have different ways, you can do everything. Thanks for watching.
Everything that is not of God in my life, oh.